Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. I'm aboard the ship Celebrity Millennium, just left the port of Nagasaki last night, headed now down further south toward Kyoto and pointing south, a couple other ports of call we're going to make. But I wanted to get this video in because in the background there's a Tai Chi class going on aboard the ship. To my right is a big walking track where there are a lot of people going around. We have quite a mix of ages on this ship, elderly to younger people. But I'm very impressed with the number of elderly people on this international cruise that are physically active and doing what they can to stay mobile and fit. Specifically in the martial arts, fitness is vital. I recall sitting at the table 1998, I believe it was, maybe 99, sitting next to Master Toma and interviewing him to some extent, having a conversation. And I pointed out how strong and fit his chest and upper body, and I asked him what he did to maintain that. He said, lift a weight. He was a very strong man in a small body. Being strong is a key indicator of longevity, as I said. So at some point, whether in your adolescence or your 40s or your 50s, at some point it's important to put on as much muscle as you can naturally and to build up that muscle mass. And then once you reach that level, try to do what you can to maintain it. I love seeing Sensei Nick's post his gym selfies when he goes and trains in the gym each week. I said back in the 80s when I was teaching Kempo, I kind of came up with a phrase in my head, and no fat masters, because in Las Vegas at the time, there were a lot of masters who would sit around behind their desks with their bellies expanding and give orders and go do punch kick, and they probably couldn't do a push-up. Some form of exercise and strength building is key. I don't care who you talk to, you'll hear, technique will overcome strength and size doesn't matter in the martial arts. Baloney. Bull hockey. Yes, if you're small, you want to maximize your capacity through technique and other things. Bruce Lee was small, nearsighted, one leg shorter than the other, and epileptic. He compensated by working out hard. Now, he might have gone to what some would call an extreme, and sometimes certain levels of body fat being lowered can increase your risk of certain things, such as his epileptic fit and his death by misadventure, took a bad medicine. No overcoming that. And we all have certain genetics that we are born with, but we can overcome a great deal of our genetics through environment, through training. So while genetics and environment can determine a lot, and we have no control over genetics, we definitely have control over environment. So getting to the gym, maintaining your ability to do push-ups, squats, those kinds of things that keep the body fit and strong especially, are going to be vital to not only your martial arts performance as you age, but just your overall longevity and health. Train. Get to the gym, do your push-ups. I did my master's degree in sports conditioning and human performance, and so there are a lot of areas of specificity in how to train. But as a general rule, if you're just putting on muscle, if you're building muscle, hypertrophy, if you're trying to achieve that, a lot of other ills can be overcome. Last point on that topic, Evander Holyfield, when training to fight Mike Tyson, had a professional strength and conditioning coach. And his strength and conditioning coach kind of bucked what the trend was at the time of functional movement and mimicking your sport movement with your weight training, putting weights in your hand while you punch and that kind of a thing. He bucked that, and he said, you know what? I'm going to train Evander Holyfield like a bodybuilder. All I want to do is put muscle on him. It'll increase his ability to absorb the punishment that Mike Tyson invariably gives out when he fights, but it will make him just overall stronger. Trusting that Evander was going to do plenty of boxing drills. He's going to go into the gym and work his boxing technique and drills and bag drills and all of that, shadow boxing with his coach and timing and footwork. He's going to do all of that in his boxing-specific training. So as a strength coach, he approached it as, I just want to give him as much muscle to work with as I can, so that when he does his boxing, he is at his most effective. Train hard, go to the gym. I was just up in the gym, can't film in there, otherwise I would have done it in there. And I'm out on the track and there's a lot of noise, so I just tried to find a quiet place to make this post. But get yourself into the gym, do body weight workouts, buy a set of bands at home, do body weight squats, get some TRX straps, one set of dumbbells or a kettlebell. Even your traditional, my master's degree thesis was on the comparison between contemporary methods versus traditional methods in training of Okinawan karate, using such things as chi-shi, shashi, tetsugeta, nigirigame, all of the tools of the old Okinawan karate training. One time years ago, back in late 1990s, I went out running in Las Vegas and I stopped in an open field and grabbed a pair of rocks and just went through my kata holding the rocks. There are all sorts of methods, and trying to criticize somebody else's method or say one is right, one is wrong, I try not to do that. Do something to make your body stronger, and your body will thank you for it. That's it for today. Thanks for joining. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to continue enjoying another week on my Japan coastal tour and food excursion. And I'm going to keep going to the gym so my food excursion doesn't put me over the top. Thank you again. Like, share, subscribe. And as always, until next week, let's keep practicing.